With us now are Bill, Jamie, and Jermaine, and they are part of New York Orchestras, but they're with a very special group called Vibe. How are you guys today?
Good. Thanks for having us.
We had so much fun. We met at a St. Jude's event that I was the MC for at Oheka Castle, and I loved your music so much.
Thank you.
You had everybody dancing. It was such a great night, doing so many good things for charity. So Bill, you started this about when? When did you start your original group?
1996.
Okay.
That's when I started the first group, which is called Central Park Orchestra, and we did our first event in December of '98, which makes it about 20 years, and it was at the Ritz-Carlton in San Juan, Puerto Rico.
Lovely.
Yeah.
You've played all over the world, right? Like some
Pretty
gigs,
much.
Yeah. So
Pretty much.
San Antonio, West Palm, California,
Yeah, we have a wedding coming
Alaska.
up in November. Yeah.
I don't. You've also done a lot of TV show gigs, not just Live It Up with me, but
yes. We used to be when the Regis and Kelly show before it was Kelly and whomever she's choosing these days.
Rotate, Kelly and Rotate. No, I don't mean any disrespect to her. Okay.
No, but when it was the Regis and Kelly show, we were the band that did the St. Valentine's Day weddings. So every year we would play at Tavern on the Green or one of those places in the city, and so we used to do that show. And then from there we did a few shows for Fox Business Channel, a show called Happy Hour. We did another show called The Morning Show with Mike and Juliet, with Juliet Huddy. She's pretty well known on Fox. And so we've done a bunch of TV shows. But primarily what we do are weddings and social events. And that's how we met you, at Oheka Castle.
So Jermaine, how did you know at what age that you wanted to, be a vocalist and that you wanted to celebrate life in this way?
Well, I never wanted to be a vocalist in the beginning when I started playing drums at an early age. And then, in my teenage years, I discovered that, I liked the singing because my dad is a singer. And then when I started doing music professionally in 2007, playing with my own band, I used to watch all these cabaret artists perform, and I said, I could do this, And I started practicing and learning songs and stuff. And I just kept pushing, and I started singing from that time. And now I'm here, just in love with what I do right now.
What was your audition process like? Is he hard to audition for? He's got to be, because like the night that he was setting up all the equipment and everything, I was like, oh, this man knows what he wants, because you were like really specific. But you have to be. You take it seriously.
Yeah. Well, sure. Well, the funny thing is, the way we met was my brother, who's actually in the business as well, saw Jermaine singing with a reggae band. Surprise, he's from Montego Bay, Jamaica. He's singing with a reggae band.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So, and he said, you got to check this guy out. You got to find a spot for this guy. And so Jermaine sent me an email with a video, and I wasn't impressed. And I called my brother and I said,
So
this is not good. And he goes, no, trust me. So Jermaine and we hit it off immediately, and I knew right away. And the thing is, what he does best, he couldn't put on video because it's what he does with the crowd. It is incredible.
I agree with you. It's that engagement, that connection that you have with the people. And Jamie, what about you? What's been your journey like as a vocalist and as a performer and entertainer?
Well, both my parents are actually musicians and performers and singers. My mother was on Nashville Now when she was younger. She was a country recording artist. And they're actually still in a classic rock cover band in California, which is where I'm from. My grandmother was a singer. She worked for a radio station, so she was singing. And my other grandmother was a dancer. And so it was kind of expected of me to do this. I was singing since I could walk. So
wonderful.
Yeah.
Do you remember what your first solo was?
I think it was from My Fair Lady, and I think I did it at some fair, and I think I sang into the mic like this because I was too nervous. But yeah.
Mine was You Light Up My Life, and it was an outdoor performance, and I was so nervous, but it was outdoors and a bug. And I was like, what do? You got to keep singing, right?
In your throat.
And afterwards, I was like so upset. He goes, you're such a professional. I was like 12 at the time. So I belonged to the singing group called the Futures of America, and George Fernald said, you got it, kid. And I was with them for many, many years. But you always remember, I think, like if you're a real estate agent, you always remember the first house that you sold. If you're a performer, you always remember that first play or the name that you're, you're in a playbill or something like that. So how about you? You remember your first performance?
Yeah, my
that-
first gig, I was 15 years old.
Okay.
My dad drove me to the gig. I set up my drums, and it was a trio, and it was a sax player and a keyboard player from Frank Sinatra's band.
Wow.
And so my drum teacher, who was their age, said, listen, I can't make the gig, but I have this student, he's really good. You know, so here I go there, 15 years old, I'm like,
No pressure.
Scared to death, you know, but it was great. You know, I did my first gig, and yeah, I'll never forget it.
There you go. And how about you? First early memories of you?
My first memory was singing with my band. There's a song called "She's Royal" by a reggae artist back home. That was my first song that I've ever sang, and I mean, it was great. Just being out there in the front and just performing for people, and that was a very memorable moment for me, you know, singing that time. And from there on, you know, plenty more memorable
Yes,
moments.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
You know, and everybody's wedding nowadays, you know, they'll work with you. You will kind of go with them through the playlist and pick out song selection and things
so
like
one of the
that, and
things that-
corporate gigs.
Yeah,
and
one of the things I
you customize it.
pride myself in is that I've developed this knack for being able to read a crowd. You know, and so every wedding we play, we virtually 50% of the playlist is completely different. You know, for every wedding that we do or every event that we do. So we totally customize the playlist. And you know, the thing that makes this band really special is we have a very unique blend of pop music, reggae music because of Jermaine, and Latin music because our percussionist Yvonne is also a great singer, and the
yes.
combination of the
so
three of
much
them in front
talent.
of the band dancing and, you know, really entertaining. It's a very, very high energy group. So it's, yeah, that's what we do.
Let's take a look at that energy right now. We got a little bit of a video clip. You ready?
Yeah.
Let's take a look.
Put your hands up. 24/7 chillin'. I'm killing like a villain. Hey. I'm in the ball. It's ready to pull it.
And we're dancing. Okay, so I love to sing, I love to dance, I love art, I love just celebrating life. You guys are so fantastic. Now, I did ask you, I said, do you want to sing a little something? And we talked about it ahead of time, but could you just give us a few little bars? Do you mind? Just a little something.
All right,
All right, here we go. All right.
Baby, I'm dancing in the dark
With you between my arms, barefoot on the grass, listening to our favorite song. When you said you looked a mess, I whispered underneath my breath, but you heard it. You look perfect tonight.
Wow, thank you. You want to hire them? I do. Let them serenade at your next event. Stay tuned for more on Live It Up.